Hello, everyone. Happy Friday to all of you. How's everyone doing this day? Evita is in the house. How you doing, Evita? JR, what's up? I didn't see you all last time. Let's see. Oh, no. What am I doing here? Make sure I'm not messing this up here. I think I almost closed out this page here where I'm doing my live stream from. Okay, here we go. Looking good now. Let's see. Don Quest, how you doing? Lisa Foster, Copernicus, hello. Michael Eversberg, Jan is in the house. Tiki, Nostradamus, how you doing? Good to see you. Living Soil from South Bay, California. Gracious 48, how you doing? Stuart's prepping. LC in Florida. Apocalypse Chow. I like that. Explorer. Can anyone see this? We can see you, Explorer. Welcome. Let's see who else. Muskoka Oma, how are you doing? Good to see you. John Lies, very nice. I just purchased my third carbine, which I don't need. It was cheap. Hey, you can't ever have too many. I consider that an investment, John. Tell you the truth, an investment. I was taking a look at my EDC the other day, and well, it's like I see it every day. But you know what? I was thinking about it about when I purchased it. I purchased that little EDC about 8 years ago, about 8 years ago or so, and it's double the price what it was when I purchased it. So if anything, it's an investment, right? Let's see. The more, the better. Steve Gray, how are you doing, Steve? Good to see you. We have a lot of stuff to go over today, ladies and gentlemen, because it looks like things are just not going to get any better when it comes to the economy, inflation, and the war drums that have been beat here for the last couple of months or so, especially starting as of the 7th of October when Israel got, I would say, invaded, by their neighbor. So A9, what's up, Jacob? How you doing? So I know people don't want to hear this, and this is not really something that I would rather talk about, but it's just the truth. We have to get prepared for what's coming, and I mean, I think it's inevitable that we here in the United States and most Western nations, it's looking like the world, ladies and gentlemen. It's looking like it's the world that's going to be at war. Just take a look at what's going on in the Middle East. I mean, things are really moving along when it comes to just one thing that we need to set things off. Just one thing. And are we ready for this? That's my question. Are you ready for this? I don't think anyone's really ready for this. I've often said that no matter how prepared you really are, no one's ever as prepared as they really need to be, right? We haven't experienced something like this in several generations. So when it occurs, and what I mean by it, I mean a world war, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we're going toward. I've been talking about this for a while, not necessarily a world war, but that the powers that be, they need perpetual war. They need a reason to perpetually print money. Oh, there goes AP again, talking about money, fiat currency, whatever it is. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what runs the world. That fiat currency is what gives our overlords their power, believe it or not. And whenever they are threatened in that system that they're running in order to keep us under control, right? To keep the plebes, we the people, under their control, they have to do things that, the average person wouldn't seem to really care for, like having to send your children to war. I mean, look at how many times they've done it in the past. Look at how many times they've lied about the reasons why we've gone to war. Let's not even talk about weapons of mass destruction. Let's say that was true. I personally don't believe that it was. But let's just go back to one war, i.e., it was considered a police action because we never declared war. But let's go to one where it has been proven that we, the American people, were lied to into going to that foreign nation in order to send our sons and our daughters to their deaths and have many more come back lame, without an arm or a leg or either. right? Without their mental capacity. And that was the Vietnam War. That was the lie of what is the Gulf of Tonkin, or what was the Gulf of Tonkin. If you have not researched that or looked into that or taken a look at that history, ladies and gentlemen, that is documented that we, the American people, were lied to directly by our own government in order that we send our boys and girls to a foreign land to fight against a foe that, in all actuality, ladies and gentlemen, wasn't our foe at that time. So we've been lied to so many times. And now, ladies and gentlemen, what do you believe? What else is there to believe in order to get us into another entanglement overseas? Wasn't the way that we exited Afghanistan enough to let we, the American people, know that we shouldn't be fighting other wars because of the way that our people that were there were treated? There's probably people, don't quote me on this, but fact check this. I would bet a silver dollar that there's probably still people back there that didn't make it out, that are trying to find a way out, but just haven't been able to and are still hiding out for their safety. And here we go, going into another war. Why? Because they have to take us to war. When you have so many crimes, ladies and gentlemen, to hide, when you have so many nefarious things that you've done in your past to hide from the people, what is the best way to cover up your lies and your crimes? Let's go to war, because they're going to believe what we say, they should believe. It's been proven in the past. In the past, it's been proven. We've gone to war every time they told us, let's go to war. So I guess, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to war. And this time, it's not going to be that kind of war where we're going to come out of it. And I mean, come out of it as a nation unscathed. Yes, in previous wars, Afghanistan, Iraq, the first, Iraq deal that went on. Yes, we lost a lot of people. But in my opinion, this time around, the war is going to come here to our soil. So we need to get prepared more than ever. And why is that? Why is it that the war is going to come here to our soil? Because look at the enemy that we are facing, ladies and gentlemen. This is an enemy that has already penetrated our borders. Anyone that thinks that the enemy has not already penetrated our borders and is already sitting here within these United States, man, you better wake up, because they're already here. They're just waiting for orders. And I don't personally think, ladies and gentlemen, that the enemy is going to do something similar to what they did in Israel. I don't believe they're going to do that. I believe that what they're going to do is that they're going to attack us strategically, meaning that they're going to try to take out our infrastructure. Think about what your life would look like if you had to go 1 month without electricity. Just think about that. That alone is going to break half of the population of the United States. Do you think that half of the population of the United States, do you think that half of your neighbors, ladies and gentlemen, can go a month without electricity? If they can, then you're very lucky to live within a community that can do so. But I would venture to say that more than half of our population in the United States could not go more than a month without electricity. And that's not the only thing. When you don't have electricity, guess what else you don't have? Water. Can you go a month without water? When you don't have electricity, guess what else you don't have? You don't have deliveries to your supermarkets. There's just so many things, ladies and gentlemen, that one of our infrastructure necessities, i.e., the electrical utility, can do to us if we don't have it, that is going to be a field day for these sleeper cells that are within our nation to just pick and choose what it is that they want to hit. Think about the food system. Think about the transportation system. Think about the bridges. Think about our highways. Think about the safety of the truckers. Do you think that a trucker is going to drive a truck if they don't feel safe? I remember David Dubine once saying that there will come a day where truckers that are transporting foods and things that we need were going to be escorted by military vehicles and or law enforcement. I see that day coming, ladies and gentlemen, because it's not going to be an attack from outside our borders. The attack that's going to come to the U.S. is going to be from within our borders. And unfortunately, in my opinion, they're already here. And all they're doing is waiting for their masters to tell them what to do. And we have to get ready. And how can I say this with certainty? I could be wrong, and I hope 100% that I am wrong in everything I just said. I hope I'm 100% wrong, ladies and gentlemen. But ask yourselves a question. If you were the enemy and you knew that this country had a porous border in the south and in the north, what would you do? If you think that it's out of the question that there are already enemy personnel within our nation, ask yourself, what would you do if you were the enemy of the United States of America? Would you send people through the border knowing that they can get through with no problem and then just have them lay low with a phone, and a debit card or something like that they can get money out? What would you do, ladies and gentlemen? Think about that. So you need to get prepared. And again, I personally don't think that it's going to be a tax within the United States. I think it's going to be a tax to our infrastructure because most Americans just don't know how to get by a day or two without power. And the sad thing, ladies and gentlemen, is that we still have a little bit of time. We still have some time to get those basic necessities, to go and get a cheap generator. If you don't have a gasoline powered or a gas powered generator, you still have time to go get a cheap one. If you can't afford to get a fancy one or whatever, a cheap one, an inexpensive one, a $200 or $300 or $400, gasoline generator, in my opinion, is better than nothing, right? It's nice to have that $3,500 Honda, right? That everyone says is the best, but I would rather have a small one that's maybe on the cheaper side than not to have one at all. People still have time to get prepared. And unfortunately, many people will not get prepared out of pure ignorance because it's not their fault. They just don't know. They've been living behind rose-colored glasses their entire lives, and they just live a normalcy bias, way of life, which is really not their fault in a way, because if they've been taught that a shoe is a shoe for their entire life, they're going to say, hey, this is a shoe, even though it may not be. They may be looking at it the wrong way. But you're also going to have people that just refuse to listen, people that you've been warning for years. And when it hits, they're going to finally realize that they should have paid attention. And that's the sad part, is that a lot of these people, they have children. And it's their children that are going to pay the price because they didn't listen. But ladies and gentlemen, I would hope that you are all taking into consideration what the geopolitical nature of the world is today and how it will be affecting us here in the U.S., ladies and gentlemen. Even if we're lucky enough not to have any attacks within the United States of America, we are going to feel the repercussions of this war. That will start soon enough. I would say that it's already started. They just haven't declared it a war. And hopefully they won't declare it a war. I was thinking about this earlier today. And I know that I cut my salutations short, ladies and gentlemen, but, I'm on a roll here. But I was thinking about this earlier today. You know how we've always complained in the past, like, man, they've never even declared a war. We shouldn't be going over there. They haven't declared a war. Now, I hope to the good Lord that they don't declare a war. Whatever it is that happens, going forward, I hope to the good Lord that they do not declare it a war. And this is why. And this is what I think. I think I'm right when I say this. Unless a war has been declared, then there cannot be a draft. Right? If somebody wants to check me on that and put it up on the chats, unless a war has actually been declared by Congress, there cannot be a draft. So I hope that they don't declare this a war. But everything that I'm seeing, ladies and gentlemen, I think that they eventually will. The point of the matter is this, or the fact of the matter, is that you need to get prepared now. Every little thing that you can get is going to count and it's going to make a difference in the future. Now, let me say this also. Don't stop living your lives. You cannot stop living your lives, because what happens if tomorrow everything changes? What happens if tomorrow, for some reason, some unicorn comes from above and starts farting unicorn rainbows on everyone and everything changes? You need to continue to live your life, ladies and gentlemen. We never know what's going to happen in life. So you need to continue to live it. You need to continue to have your family days, your Friday night movies, if you have Friday night movies, and stuff like that. You need to continue to have those things because little things really matter in the long term. Continue to live your life, but always understand that we must continue to stay prepared. And if you haven't started prepping, I hope that you stay tuned because hopefully you'll be encouraged to start preparing if you haven't started. It's probably more important now than it's ever been in our very recent history, meaning the last 100 years or so, for us to prepare. Well, AP, in the last 100 years, we had World War II. Shouldn't have those people been prepared? They were, ladies and gentlemen. During World War II, the average, and the Great Depression, World War II around the same era, the average family, the average person was prepared. That's why more people didn't starve to death. Back then, they knew how to fix their things. They knew how to repair clothes. They knew how to fix the holes in their shoes. They didn't have a throwaway society like we do today. Guilty, guilty as charged, ladies and gentlemen. Me too. I'm part of that throwaway society. And it's hard not to be because when you see that it costs you more to repair something than what it is to buy it brand new, what are you going to do? You're going to throw it away and you're going to buy it brand new. That's what you're going to do. Right? So we live in a throwaway society. Back then, during the Great Depression and the World War II era, ladies and gentlemen, Americans back then, they stuck together. Community was a lot tighter. How many of you live in an apartment building right now? Raise your hands. How many of you know your neighbors? How many of you live in a subdivision? How many of you know your neighbors? All right. It's a matter of fact that most people don't even know who their neighbors are. Right. So yes, it's a lot different today than what it was back during World War II, the Great Depression era. And even though we're going to go into a war and what I believe will be a world war, we have never seen anything like this. Even back during the Great Depression and World War II, we have never seen anything like this, even back then. I think that the rationing that will go on will break people because people are used to nowadays to instant gratification. Can you imagine the fit that some people are going to throw when they can't put cream in their coffee or they can't add sugar to their coffee or when they're restricted to A, B, or C? People are going to lose their minds, ladies and gentlemen. That's another thing that you have to prepare for. And talking about people are going to lose their minds, do you know that about 50% of the population here in the US, I believe that number is correct. It might be about 6 months old or so, but I think it's about 50% are in some kind of a drug that can alter your mood or your behavior. I mean, what happens when China stops shipping us those pharmaceuticals that we rely on, of which most are like prescription medications, ladies and gentlemen? What happens when those people are cut off from those drugs that they're used to taking on an everyday basis? A lot of people in the United States, they're addicted to prescription drugs and they don't even know it. I'm not saying that it's their fault that they are, but they are. I had a soldier once, this was a long time ago, we were deployed, but I didn't find out that she was addicted to her prescription drugs until she ran out of her prescription drugs and there was no way of her to get any because we were forward deployed in Afghanistan. And finally, I was like, what is going on? Because you are different than what you were a couple of days ago. And she finally told me, because, in the military, just like here in the civilian world, HIPAA is something. You can't just ask them, hey, what are you on? So I couldn't do that. But she told me, yeah, I'm out of my medicines. And I'm like, well, why didn't you tell me? But she was kind of like losing it. And guess what? As soon as we got her medicines that she needed, she was okay again. Ladies and gentlemen, what happens when we just can't get it anymore, right? I know that the United States government has a stockpile of prescription medication, but what happens when that runs out? Their stockpile is not infinite, as I am sure, all know. So this is the time to make sure that you continue to prepare, because I wish I could sit here, ladies and gentlemen, and just have an awesome little Friday live stream and say, hey, everything is great. Everything is just fine and dandy. Everything is great. But the fact of the matter is that things are not great. I actually predicted something like this a while back. And those of you that have been with me for a while, see if you remember me talking about this. But I remember maybe a couple of years ago saying that one of the things that scares me the most about this administration is that if they do take us to war, that we will probably lose that war because they'll allow it to happen. Now, look at where we're at as a nation. Are we really ready to face a two or three, sided war? One in Taiwan, one over there in the Middle East. We're paying for one in Eastern Europe. And then, of course, the war that we have going on right here in our nation in the southern border and within, with all of the possible T people that have been released into our population. Would we be able to handle that? Ask yourselves. I reported about this a while back, stating that the military is saying we don't have enough ammunition. We've been giving it all away. How are we going to protect ourselves? Even for them to have enough ammunition for one war in Eastern Europe with Ukraine, even for them to have enough to constantly provide them with that, it was going to take till like 2025 before they can have a monthly allocation where they can build them on a monthly basis enough to send over like 70,000 rounds to them every month. It was going to take till like 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, where are we going to get the ammunition? Where are we going to get here in the United States all of the metals that we need in order to build the ammunition to protect ourselves within our borders, if we don't even have it to ship out to those proxies that we're trying to help? So ask yourselves if everything is going to be okay. Should we go to war? I think not. And I know this, that if you are prepared, it's not a guarantee that you're going to make it. But if you're not, the probabilities of you making it to the other side is going to be much lower than that of those that are actually prepared and have the things that they need. Because if there is no kinetic war within the United States, your war is going to be substance, sustenance, the things that you need to actually survive that you won't have because they won't be making it into our borders, or because you just won't be able to afford it, because by that time the dollar will have crashed. So there's just so many things, ladies and gentlemen, to worry about nowadays, and these are valid things that we have to worry about, right? But the fact of the matter is this, and I believe this wholeheartedly, is that if you just do the basic level of preparedness, you're going to be so much better off than your average person that's just walking around with blinders on. Let's see, man, that was a heck of an intro, and I haven't even talked to you all about some of the things that I want to talk to you all about today. So let's take a few minutes and bring it on down. The 49th state, how you doing? Good to see you. Dale Robertson, hello. Michelle H. Let's see, who is that? Noodlehead, how you doing, Noodlehead? All the way from Kentucky. Elizabeth, hello. Dumpster Ahoy, how you doing? Yarn Prepper is in the house. How you doing, Yarn Prepper? Oops is here. Let's see, Mario, how are you doing, Mario? Good to see you. Janice, how you doing? Say hello to Pete, if Pete's not working today. Apocalypse, okay, I said hello to Apocalypse Chow. Rose, how you doing? Rex Wilhite is in the house. That reminds me of something now that I see Rex here. So today I had to go and pick up my wife's vehicle at a dealership. We had to do some work to it, right? And on the way there to pick it up, or before, the dealership calls me and says, hey, your vehicle is ready for you to pick up. And I'm like, well, I won't have a ride there till XX number of hours. And he's like, oh, no, we'll go ahead and send over a dash. They'll pick you up. And I'm like, what? I'm like, you guys do dash? You actually, send a dash to pick someone up to come and get their vehicle? They're like, yeah. I'm like, that's pretty awesome. I was like, that's great service. So a person came over. His name was Mark. All right. His name is Mark. He came over and picked me up. He does dash for a side gig, right? So that's actually a great gig, a great side hustle, ladies and gentlemen, for you to do if you need extra cash. Go do some dash. I still read these comments all the time, right? From people on the comments of my video saying, well, I can't afford this. I'm on Social Security. Well, guess what? Mark, the guy that picked me up today, that's doing dash, he's on Social Security and he's a military retiree. Not only is he collecting a pension, but he's on Social Security as well. I asked him, I was like, why are you doing dash? He says, well, my pension and my Social Security is no longer enough for me to pay my bills. So I have to do Dash. So guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I mean, he's been retired for like 30 years, man. He retired back in 1993. He's been retired for 30 years. I remember that because I was being funny, saying, "Man, the government must be so angry at you for staying alive so long." This guy's like in his late 60s, if not early 70s, and he is doing DoorDash because inflation has stripped him of his purchasing power. Point of matter is, or fact of matter is this, is that if you cannot afford to get prepared on the income that you have now, get an additional income, ladies and gentlemen, because saying that you can't afford it is only going to guarantee one thing, and that is that you can't afford it. That's the only thing you're going to guarantee yourself by saying, "Oh, I can't get this, I can't afford it." I'm sorry to have to say this. Maybe this is a little bit of hard love. All right, ladies and gentlemen. But stop saying you can't afford it and just start saying, "I don't want to do it." Right? Just say, "I don't care. I don't want to do it." Don't say you can't afford it. Because if you really want something, if you really want to do something, instead of telling yourself, "I can't, I don't," you're going to tell yourself, "How can I? How can I get this?" Instead of just saying, "I can't." Man, I hear that so many times, ladies and gentlemen. And every time that I read that in a comment or I hear it, what I think of is this is, man, a lot of people are not going to make it this next time around. A lot of people are not going to make it because when you're starving, let me tell you one thing, an excuse is not going to feed you. It's going to be your preps that's going to feed you when you're starving. And hopefully it won't get to that point where you're starving if you have your preps. But an excuse is not going to. Jeffrey Lindquist, how you doing? Kevin Grip, thank you, Kevin Grip. How you doing, my friend? Ma too is in the house. How you doing, Ma? It's good to see you. SR is in the house. How you doing, SR? Melanie White, how are you? All the way from Southern Idaho. Good to see you. Mary, how are you doing? Amy Lou, how are you? Good to see you. Let's see. Let's bring it on down a little bit. Storm Weather, how are you? Let's see. Gracious 48 says, "AP, my boys still didn't." Oh my goodness. Incredible. Do you need me to berate your sons? Gracious 48 on YouTube. I was gonna say on national TV, but no, on YouTube. I'm so sorry to hear that. You know what, Gracious 48? This is what you need to do. Install it yourself. You can do it. It's not difficult. It doesn't take any strength. All you have to do is have a drill. And what Gracious 48 is talking about is the reverse osmosis water filtration system that she won here a while back. All you need is a drill with a 1/4 inch drill bit, which I think it comes with the 1/4 inch drill bit. All right. So all you need is a drill, and then you need a little wrench, and that's it. That's all you need to install the system. Okay. So hopefully you can do it. If you definitely shouldn't pay a handyman to do it because it's not difficult to do at all. So let's see. Amazing Grandma, how are you doing? Good to see you. Red Scout, how are you doing? Good to see you. Yes, absolutely, Red Scout. I agree with you 100%. What you need is Jesus Christ, actually. Yes, indeed. But you also need to be prepared, okay? You also need to be prepared. But absolutely, I mean, your faith is going to get you through this. But in all actuality, your faith won't keep you fed, but it will get you through this. Everyone needs that. And I think that the times that we're coming to, people that don't have faith, they're gonna find it. They're gonna find it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Lenny, what's up? Lenny, are you all done? Ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and congratulate my good friend Lenny B, because he just retired from the United States Army after I think it was 23 or 26 years. All right, congratulations, buddy. We'll talk this weekend sometime. That's awesome. I'm so happy for him, man. I was so happy for him when he told me that that's it. He was on his last couple of weeks. Well, he's probably still technically in the army. He's probably just on his terminal leave and all that kind of stuff. How you doing, doggone it? Good to see you. John Upatel, how are you doing? Ut Patel. American Prepper, how you doing? Good to see you. Brian Wright, how are you doing, Brian? Good to see you, my friend. Linda Bopp is in the house. Caribbean House is in the house. How you doing, Caribbean House? Gail is here. How you doing? Oh, the name of the book, it's Confessions of an Economic Hitman. That usually I only ever recommend two books: Confessions of an Economic Hitman or The Creature from Jekyll Island by G. Edward Griffith, and Confessions is by oh my goodness, I forget his name now. I'm getting a brain fart. But if you're gonna look for a couple of prepping books that are more like novels, but there's a lot of prepping tips in it, Patriots is probably one of my very favorites. Patriots and One Second After. Those two books are awesome. All right. And Confessions of an Economic Hitman is by John Perkins, by the way. But Patriots, I believe, is by James Wesley Rawls. And One Second After is by, I forget his first name, but I think it might be John, but it's a Forshaw or something like that. That's how you pronounce his last name. But those are great books. All of those books are great books. I do have to say that for entertainment, Patriots and One Second After are great, great books for entertainment. Plus, they have a lot of tips within them that you can actually use in real life. All right, let's see. Jennifer Cruz is in the house. How you doing? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you all caught the new podcast that Grayman Prepping and myself are going to be doing on a weekly basis. Now, to my ladies, my moderators, all right, I actually didn't email you back, JT, but this is what we came up with. We were going to do that podcast every Sunday. We did our first one last Tuesday this week. So go check it out if you like, because it was a lot of fun. So we did our last one this last Tuesday, and we were going to do it every Sunday. However, we went ahead and changed it to, instead of Sundays, we're going to do it Mondays. We're going to do it every Monday at 3 p.m. Alaska time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. All right. That way, hopefully more people can catch it. And given that Sunday being, part of the weekend where a lot of people spend time with their families, go to church, etc., that maybe more people can catch it on a Monday. And it's a good start to your work week to hang out with us for an hour or so during that Monday evening. If you're in the East Coast, if you're in the West Coast, it's going to be about 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time instead of 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, so hopefully you all can catch that. And we did put our first up, like I said. And what we're going to do is this. We're going to switch channels from week to week. So since this last Tuesday, we did this on Grayman's channel, then next Monday, when we start having it every Monday, which will be this Monday coming up, it's going to be on my channel, on this channel here. But what we're doing is, both of us, in order to capture more eyes and more ears, is that whenever we put one up live on whoever's channel it is, the opposite person is going to go ahead and repost it on their channel. So, for example, this last Tuesday, we had our first one on Grayman's channel, and I reposted it with chapters on this channel. That way we can get as many eyes on both sides as we possibly can. So I think it's going to be pretty successful. Why? Because we have a lot of fun doing it, and it's not scripted. So we'll see where that goes. I think that a lot of people are going to really like that format that we're doing. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. It's Only in My Dreams. We have a superstar in the house. Go check out Anna at Only in My Dreams YouTube channel. You're going to really like her YouTube channel because it's very diverse. She talks about prepping. She talks about dollhouses. She talks about shopping at the dollar store. She does all that kind of stuff. So go check her out. And she's a very nice person indeed. Nice to see you, Anna, by the way. I haven't seen you in a little bit. Let's see. Bringing it down some. Okay, let's see. I am so super far behind. Oh, this reminds me. Yarn Prepper is saying go check out the Nutrient Survival channel. And indeed, go check it out. They're always having giveaways, ladies and gentlemen. So go check out their channel, subscribe. Plus, you're really going to like the interviews that Eric and Becky do on that channel. And it does remind me that today is Friday, so there is a Friday prep deal for Nutrient Survival. If you want to support what I do, I am affiliated with them. Use my link, And also, well, you don't have to use the code for 10% off on Payday Prep Fridays, because this Friday is a great Payday Prep Friday. 25% off if you build your own bundle with the hearty lasagna. So 25% off the price off of the cans and or off of the pantry packs. I think that's a great deal. So go check it out. If you like their hearty lasagna, go grab some for 25% off. So just in case I forget on a Friday here or a Friday there, their Payday Prep deals are every Friday. So go check it out every Friday. If you're looking for a deal, if you're trying to stock up but don't doing it with deals, go check it out every Friday, ladies and gentlemen. And in case you don't know what awesome people Nutrient Survival is, check this out. So for those of you that don't know, every year we do turkeys to the food bank here on the Alaska Prepper community, and that's coming up pretty soon. But for those of you that don't know, ladies and gentlemen, Nutrient Survival sent me a check for $4,000. $4,000. And guess what I'm doing with that check? I'm turning that check over to the chaplain of Fort Wainwright, who is going to use that $4,000 to feed a turkey Thanksgiving dinner to more than 100 service members' families. Not 100 service members, but 100 service members' families. They're going to feed a turkey dinner because for those of you that don't know this, it's pretty sad that about 20 to 25% of all of the service members within our armed forces, ladies and gentlemen, have to go on welfare, have to get welfare stamps or what do they call it? SNAP. Have to go on SNAP because they can't afford to buy enough food to feed their families, and they're serving our nations. And here the government wants us to have our children enlist in the military so that they can send them over to a different country to get torn apart, all right, to become cannon fodder. And our service members right here, right now, 25% of them or so are on food stamps. So, anyways, don't get me started because you know I'll go on a rant about that. But, anyways, Nutrient Survival is awesome, not only because they have great freeze dried food that's the most nutrient dense there is in the market, period, but because the people behind the brand are the real deal. Real Americans that actually take care of Americans, all right, and don't take them for granted like our dear government has been doing for decades now, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and bring it on down some more. I do have a lot of stuff to talk about too. I am going to try to get up super early tomorrow. I'm not supposed to be going to the bunker tomorrow, but I'm going to try to get up super early so that I can put chapters on this live stream so that if anyone wants to revisit it, they can just jump to the chapters. And if I have time, maybe put out a couple of different short videos from the stuff that we're going to talk about today. It seems that people really like that because not everyone has an hour or more to contribute towards a live stream, towards watching a live stream or searching for the content that they want to, listen to, right? So I try to do that. It's very, very time consuming, but I try to do that. Great Lakes Reliance, how are you doing from Michigan? Good to see you. Big Bad John is here. Patricia Angermeyer, how are you doing? Good to see you. Ann Palmer from the great state of Louisiana is in the house. How you doing, Ann? Okay, I'm going to bring this on down because I am super far behind, and then we're going to go ahead and I have a little slideshow to share with you, and then I have something to go over with you as well. So I'm going to bring this all the way down, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, if you asked a question or had a comment, please wait until after my short presentation and then put everything in caps so that hopefully I can catch it. Before I do that, though, I do have to say thank you very much to I Can Prep 2, who says, AP, blessings to you and all vets who are likely going through it emotionally. Well, thank you very much. The sad thing about seeing that we may be entering into war, I Can Prep 2, is that we shouldn't have to be entering into war. This world, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, has enough resources for everyone that's in it. It does. And unfortunately, it seems that to some of the powers that be, to some people, all of the money in the world is just not enough. They have to have more. And I believe this is one of the reasons why we get into these entanglements is because there are some people that it doesn't matter how much money they have. I mean, look at all of these people in the top. Look at all of these people that earn a meager salary in comparison to what their net worth is. How is it that you can work for the government for 50 years, make 100 grand a year on average, let's say? For that 50 year, you're making 100 grand a year on average, let's say, but you're worth $300 million. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, man. Serious? Come on. Anyways, to some people, all the money in the world is not enough. So, unfortunately, thank you, Arheath. How are you? Good to see you, Arheath. Thank you so much. And I mean, there's a whole bunch of other things we can put on our tinfoil hat. We usually turns out to be true 6 months later, anyways, right? Whenever someone comes out with a tinfoil theory, right? Usually 6 months later, you're like, oh yeah, I guess you were right, right? I know we were calling you a kook 6 months ago, but yeah, I guess you were right, right? And I know we try to cancel you, or there's a whole bunch of people that were canceled that now it's come out to be that yeah, they were telling the truth. I guess you were right, right? But no, that's okay. Don't listen. I would rather you listen and then go do a little bit of research than to just listen and not do any research, ladies and gentlemen. Why? For whatever decisions you make. So if you decide to listen to me and just believe me without doing your own due diligence, that's your own fault, right? Because nobody is perfect, but it is you that has to live with the consequences of those decisions that you yourself are making. So do listen, but take a little bit of action, be proactive in trying to understand whether there is validity to what you're listening to or not. Because in the end, it is your truth that will come out. Whether you believe it or not is going to be you and your family, ladies and gentlemen, that pays the consequences for your actions, whether they are good or not. That's just a fact. Let's see. Okay, bringing it down. All right, we're going to have to bring this all the way down. Okay, so just Arizona, how are you doing? You say you're buffering a little bit, Arizona? Oh, okay. Let me know if I'm coming in okay. Give me a one if I'm coming in all right. I had really good internet service before we started. Man, that is a great deal, amazing grandma. $50. I'm guessing that you're talking about one of those square ones because those are usually about 275 gallons. That's a great deal. Give me a second. Let me check something out. There are some of you that are saying that, yes, I am freezing. Just a second. Maybe I'm talking too much truth. That could be part of it, but I don't know. Give me a second, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just double check something. All right. Hopefully you can see me. Give me a second. I'm double checking. I'm getting a one from a lot of you. I'm getting a two from some of you. I'm assuming that I'm coming in pretty good, being that most everyone is giving me a one. Okay, good. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm going to turn this off here. I should be coming in loud and clear. My internet is so good right now. It's like really super good. Okay, I'm a one now. Okay, good. All right. Thank you. Thank you for that. So I wanted to share something with you real quick. I'm going to go ahead and add this to it. These are just a few headlines that I think we ought to take a look at that maybe ought to steer us into the direction that, hey, listen, we need to get ready for war. And if there is no war, hallelujah, you have some extra rice and beans put away just in case you ever need it. You have some extra fuel put away just in case you ever need it. And you can rotate that stuff out because you should be putting away things that you normally use anyways, just more of it. Because, ladies and gentlemen, during a war economy, those people that are actually not in the war fighting, those people are being rationed. Why? Because you need the stuff in order to send to the front lines for those that are actually doing the fighting. It's always been the way that has been throughout history. Every major war that we've had, the people in the rear, They're going to go ahead and sacrifice some of the substance that they're used to using on an everyday basis, so that those that are fighting in the front lines can have the comforts that they need in order to be able to fight. So let's take a look at some of these things, some of these headlines that I think are going to reveal to you that yes, we are headed towards a place that we don't want to be, but we're going to be there anyways, right? So let's go and bring it back here. So check this out. And if I have to use a code word here or there, just go ahead and read the headlines for yourself. The Hezbollah chief says the U.S. is directly responsible for these Gaza atrocities, and the U.S. will soon pay a heavy price. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is not coming from me. This is coming from our enemies, from the people that, or the governments that we consider our enemies, that our government considers our enemies. Remember that the enemies are always governments, and it is always the people of those countries that pay the price. It's the way it's always been, all right? At least in recent history, right? The U.S. said that it would not only attack Lebanon, but that it will attack Iran. Your fleets in the Mediterranean do not cause us to fear. We have prepared for your fleet what it takes. And also, ladies and gentlemen, I heard through the grapevine that the U.S. has passed some kind of a resolution or a bill that states something like this, paraphrasing, that if we find out that Iran has nuclear capabilities, that we have the right to go in there and, start a kinetic altercation with them. Pretty much saying that we can go in there and bomb them, right? Pretty much is what that says. Now, who is going to prove to anyone that that is the case? Because I remember many, many years ago, 2 decades ago, a 4-star general in Congress saying, yes, they have WMDs. And it turned out, ladies and gentlemen, from what I understand, that they never did, sending us again into another war that pretty much in the end, nothing really changed except for the number of lives that were lost on both sides. So if this doesn't get you thinking that maybe you ought to start getting those work pants, so that you can have a few extra that'll get you through a few years of us not being to purchase from outside of our borders, of us not being to import, either because the countries that we normally import from aren't going to do it, period, or because we just can't afford it because our dollar has been so devalued, all right, by our government printing so much in order to keep up the war effort, then, ladies and gentlemen, maybe this next one will. Let's see what this one is. This one, ladies and gentlemen, ought to really get you to thinking. Pentagon pursues a nuclear bomb that is 24 times more powerful than the Hiroshima bomb. And it says here, real quick, the United States Department of Defense, the DoD, is looking to build a nuclear bomb that is 24 times more powerful than that one dropped on Hiroshima during World War II. The Pentagon is urging Congress to authorize the production of the significantly powerful bomb, which will surpass the capabilities of the 2 bombs employed during World War II. Now, ladies and gentlemen, all it takes is one of these things to go off anywhere in the world, and I believe that we will have some kind of a nuclear Armageddon. Can you just imagine these nuclear bombs being thrown off by all of these countries that have them, that don't like each other? Again, the government officials that make the decisions to deploy these weapons of mass destruction are going to be safe in their bunkers. It is we that will face the consequences of the decisions that they make. This ought to get you ready, to at least consider getting prepped. And what can we do about this? What can you personally do? What is this right here? What can you personally do to stop something like this from happening? Absolutely nothing, ladies and gentlemen. The only thing that you can do on a personal basis is try to get as prepared as possible. And what you prepare for is really up to you. I often say, just make sure that you prepare for the basics at the very minimal. And then if you want to prepare for A, B, or C, as far as the scenario of what's going to happen, then that's up to you. But have your basics, because we can't prepare for everything. But when I read that headline and it says that they're making they're wanting to construct a nuclear, bomb that is 24 times that of the one that they dropped in Hiroshima. I'm thinking, you know what? Russia already has a nuclear submarine detonated bomb that will cause, I think, I forgot what the name of it is, that will cause some kind of a tidal wave to come along the East Coast and saturate the entire East Coast with radioactive water. Is that really what we want? Is that really what we want? When people think about, yeah, let's go get those people. I remember during 9/11, right after 9/11, I had a friend that said, yeah, we got to go over there to the Middle East and kick some ass. Really, ladies and gentlemen, that right there is what propaganda does. That right there is what news does. So many people blame us here on YouTube and on social media about being fearmongers, when in reality, the real fearmongers are the people behind the mainstream media. Look at all the fearmongering they did in the last 3 years that kept people from being able to see their parents as they laid in their deathbeds, as they took their last breaths. As the mainstream media had people so worried that people wouldn't even go to funerals, or they couldn't go to funerals. I mean, just think about all of the fear that was spewed out by the mainstream media here in the last 3 years, and what came of it, ladies and gentlemen. What came of that deadly, deadly, deadly health crisis that they said we were going through? I would say probably nothing, except for those people that were scared enough to actually take the medicine, unfortunately. But anyways, I digress. Let's take a look at what's the next one here that I want to talk about. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to go ahead and comment on these, go ahead, but wait until after I'm done. That way I can catch your comment or your question, okay? This one here, living paycheck to paycheck has become the main financial lifestyle for the U.S. consumer. You remember when they said that you will own nothing? Well, heck, it's coming true, because your average American nowadays, especially your millennial that's coming up, into their adulthood and has already entered it, they can't even own a house. Most Americans cannot qualify, most, ladies and gentlemen, like in the 80 to 90 percentile of Americans nowadays that are looking for a home do not qualify to buy one, because the homes are so expensive in comparison to what they earn on an annual basis. So most Americans that are looking for a home can't even afford a home nowadays. So what's going to happen? This generation is going to become the renter generation. They're only going to be able to rent. So when they say that you will own nothing, that you will be happy thing, you can scratch that you will be happy, because no, you won't be happy if you can't own anything. But they mean it. You're not even going to be able to own a home. And if they get us into a CBDC, a centrally banked digital currency, guess what? You're not even going to be able to own your labor. And let me go ahead and explain that a little bit more, because I talked about that here the other day, that why it is that with a CBDC, you don't even own your labor. And this is why. Because with a CBDC, ladies and gentlemen, they can tell you what the money that you earned in that CBDC wallet is worth. So let's say that, for example, you labored for 1 hour and you earned 50 CBDC credits in 1 hour's worth of work. And at that time, that 50 CBDC credits that you earned could buy you, let's say, 10 gallons of gas. Okay. Well, if you speak out against the government, if you speak out against climate change, if you speak out against global warming, that 50 CBDC that they paid you for your 1 hour's worth of labor may turn into 40. Or if you go outside of the 15-mile perimeter on your little 15-minute city that they put for you, you may not be able to spend those credits at all, right? So if your social credit score isn't that which will allow you to spend your money where you want to, how you want to, with as much purchasing power as it had when you earned it, then tell me, really, is your labor really yours when you can't even determine what it's worth? When they can just take away your CBDCs that you earned with your labor without any due process, then your labor is no longer yours, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I meant by saying that with a CBDC, even your labor doesn't belong to you. because they can just take it all right away without due process, without telling you why. That's why. Let's see, what else do we have here? I don't even remember what it is that we're talking about today, but which is kind of good. It's kind of fresh. Oh, so I've been telling you all this for a very long time, right? Get your coffee, stock up on your coffee. I've been telling you, get this kind of coffee. It lasts 25 years. This kind of coffee will last forever. I just thought that I would share this with you because I love coffee, ladies and gentlemen. I love coffee. Dwindling ice Arabica coffee inventories hit a 24-year low. What does that mean? Coffee prices are going to go up. So get your coffee, put it away. Freeze-dried coffee, spray-dried coffee, as long as you store it somewhere that's cool, away from rodents, etc., it's going to last pretty much forever, right? I did a small experiment, which I didn't really capture on video, but I can share that with you today. I went ahead and took some of the freeze-dried coffee. I think it's, I forget the darn name of that freeze-dried coffee. Where is it? Taster's Choice, right? I took some Taster's Choice and I put it on a window here in my bunker for like 2 years. And the sun during the summertime is beating right on it. For 2 years, it sat on that windowsill. And that was 2 years after I purchased it. So it's like 4 years past the best buy date. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. Even with the sun beaming down on it, even with it being hot during the summer and cold during the winter, absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's not the very best coffee in the world, but it's pretty cheap coffee. And as long as you add a little bit of creamer to it, it tastes all right. It'll pass the test, all right? If you want to put away some really awesome coffee that's not only tasty, but that has all your vitamins and stuff that you need, get Nutrient Survival Coffee. It is literally some of the best tasting coffee that I've ever had. So give it a try at least one time. You'll be hooked. But that's one of the things you should be putting away. Now, I've been taking pictures here for the last couple of weeks every time that I go into a supermarket or Costco or something of some prices that are completely out of control. And I'm going to see if I can go ahead and get those pictures and put them together in a short video so that I can just show you. But I honestly don't know how some people that are just making your mean $36,000 or $39,000 a year here in the United States can actually afford to eat. There is one item that I've been tracking for years now from Costco, and many of you know what that is. You probably tell me right now. It's the two 3-liter bottles that Costco sells of olive oil. I've been tracking those 3-liter bottles from Costco for about the last 3.5 years or so, ever since Costco opened here in Fairbanks. And I remember when they were first here that they were like $19.99. It was like $20 for a 2-pack. Ladies and gentlemen, I went to Costco yesterday, I believe it was, or the day before yesterday. $48. $48 for that exact same olive oil, ladies and gentlemen. The same size, same place it came from, same calories, same nutrition in that olive oil. But now it's more than 2 times as expensive as it was 3 years ago. So for those people that think that inflation isn't as bad as what it really is, then I consider you lucky. Because some people that say, well, inflation's not that bad, you're a very lucky person if you don't think that inflation has ravaged the prices of those things that we were just buying a couple, 3 years ago for half as much as what they're costing now. Incredible. But there's a whole bunch of other examples that I took pictures of that I would like to compile into a short video and share with you, because I honestly don't know how some people are making it. And this right here says it all. They're not making it. They're barely making it, living paycheck to paycheck. Now, when you live paycheck to paycheck, you have to consider that one small accident, the loss of your car, there goes your job, there goes your livelihood. And that is the state in which we are in, ladies and gentlemen. What is it? 70-something% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck now. And look at this. This just shows you that we are headed toward third world status. This, ladies and gentlemen, is third world stuff. I put out a video a while back saying, or I think it was a live stream that says, welcome to the third world. And that's where we're entering, ladies and gentlemen. We are currently walking through that door, entering into the third world. And this is very sad, by the way, right? U.S. infant mortality rate rises for the first time in over 20 years. U.S. infant mortality rate rose 3%, with 20,538 deaths recorded in 2022. And I believe that a infant mortality death is when a child does not make it to their first birthday. I believe that's what is counted as. So, so welcome to the third world, ladies and gentlemen. All of these years that these crazy prepper people have been telling you, get prepared. Put this away, put that away at today's prices because it's going to be more tomorrow. Hopefully, people have paid attention because this is where we are today. And here I'm sitting here telling you that in the future is actually going to be worse than what it is now. And it's not because I want it to be. It's not because I'm a prophet. It's not because I'm a genius. It's just, ladies and gentlemen, it's common sense. Open your eyes and see not only what is going on in front of you, but what is going on within our nation and our world. Our country alone here in the US, we are in so dire times right now in the United States. Mainly, first and foremost, because our southern border has been left open and we are literally being invaded on a daily basis. And nobody gives a damn. At least nobody that can do something about it gives a damn. And it will be too late. I was actually talking to someone about this today. I said, there will be a war inside of the United States, not necessarily against another nation that's invading, but against all of those foes that are already here. Why? Because they've already invaded, ladies and gentlemen. They're just waiting. Let's take a look. What's the next one? I think we're almost done. We maybe have one or two more, maybe. Okay. Let's see. Biden's DOJ is pushing the Supreme Court case to nullify pro-gun ruling. So check this out. I'm not going to get into what this is about. This has something to do with two cases that the Supreme Court is looking at. But what I'm getting at is this right here, ladies and gentlemen, about this anti-gun rhetoric that's always been going on in our government. All right. And of course, it's usually from the left that is happening. That's just the way it is. Not taking sides. I don't care about left and right and all that crap. I care about freedom. I care about this country. I care about my brothers and sisters. All right, because so many people have been programmed to think about left or right that they've already got rehearsed sayings that say, "Oh, this, oh, that. If he says this, say that. If he says that, say this." No, it's about freedom, ladies and gentlemen. In a time in our country where we here, our government is sending arms to other nations because they're being attacked, they're trying to take away our arms. How much sense does that make? Can anyone tell me if that makes any sense? We're sending arms to Ukraine. We're sending aid. And I'm pretty sure that now we're sending arms to Israel so that they can arm their citizens, ladies and gentlemen. In Ukraine, they were arming their citizens after they got attacked. In Israel, they are now actively arming their citizens after they got attacked. Oh, that's okay. In the US, they're just wanting to take our arms away. That right there ought to tell you that this government is not for the people. Man, I'm going to be in so much trouble one day if this government turns tyrannical. If this current government turns tyrannical and it maintains power, a lot of people are going to get black bagged. You know what black bagged is? Is that when you're pumping gas or something into your car one day or using the ATM, a black van comes and pulls up behind you. They put a black bag over your head and your family will never hear from you again. And I know I'm smiling when I say this, but what else can you do? But just think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Think about everything that this administration at least has gotten away with so far. Do you put it past them to do things like that if they ever actually become tyrannical and actually keep power? They are trying to take away our self-defense during a time that we within our borders are very vulnerable to interior attacks. And people are actually siding with this rhetoric that we shouldn't have a way to defend ourselves. People whom themselves don't trust government want government to be the only entity to have firearms. Think about how asinine that is, ladies and gentlemen. All right. One last thing that I want to go over real quick. One last thing I want to go over. And I don't even remember what it is, but I know that I have one more thing because it's right here. And it's this right here. It says here, and this is a great article, by the way. I'll try to remember to leave this linked, but if I can't leave a link because it takes too long for this live stream to it has to get rendered within YouTube before I can actually do anything to it. Then just come back and read this title and type it in, and then you'll go here. Insulate and protect yourself and your family from war with these practical preparedness tips. And we can go over some of these real quick, and you can come back and revisit this article. But the first one is be informed, ladies and gentlemen. If if you don't like my voice, if you don't like my face, that's okay. But inform yourself in one way or another. All right. So keep well informed by the news on not on TV. All right, and probably not on the radio. Pick your favorite social media, outlet to go and get informed. Why? Because there's no CIA operatives working here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, just like we know there probably are. Not saying that there are, but like there probably are. Maybe they are working for some mainstream media outlets. Let's see. Prepare and build your stockpile. Everything we've been talking about for years, not only with food, but with everything. Do you need work shoes? Get extra work shoes when they're on sale. I love the Keen style work shoes that I've been wearing for years now. So last year on Amazon, they were on sale for like 50% off. So I bought two pair. Hey, two pair for the price of one? Outstanding. And those shoes, they usually last me about 2 summers. So about 2 summers, I pretty much torn through them. So now I know that I have enough pair of those work shoes to last me the next 4 to 6 years, counting the ones that I'm currently wearing. So it's with everything, ladies and gentlemen, that you use on a regular basis. Let's see. Fortify your shelter. And fortifying your shelter doesn't mean that you have to have like a bunker or something like that, but fortify your home. For the windows, they sell that clear plastic that makes it harder to break through the windows. I did a video here a while back where I showed you what some Alaskans do to deter bears, out in the bush. And that is that they put either screws or nails through a plywood, and then they take that plywood and they put it on the floor with the screws or nails face up. And then when the bears come and they're not there because they've gone back to the city for the summer or something like that, and a bear touches that board that's full of screws or nails, it deters them from wanting to step forward anymore. They also put them on their windows and such. Anyways, fortify your home. If you have a window, maybe you can put a rose bush under it or put something under it that will deter someone from going into your home. Okay, because there's nothing that you can do that will stop someone from breaking into your home. But the objective, in my opinion, is to slow them down enough for you to get ready for the fight, for you to be able to go upstairs to your safe room, whatever it is, and get ready for that fight that's coming. Because if somebody wants to break into your home, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to break into your home. That's all there's to it. Learn basic survival skills in addition to learning first aid skills, and get some kind of equipment for first aid. Even a basic first aid kit will help you. I believe that during hard times that people are going to need basic things for first aid like alcohol, band-aids, just gauze, some tape, antibiotic cream. I think they're going to need those things more than a tourniquet, than a scissor to cut your clothes off and stuff like that, than a neck stabilizer, than a gurney or something like that, than a surgical kit. I think that people are going to need those basic things more. And think about it. When we turn into a third world country, do you think that medical services will be as abundant as they are now? Probably not. A lot of people are going to get a little cut here or there and get an infection. Go to Contingency Medical. Link is in the description of my video. Use my code for, I believe it's 10% off or $10 off the price. Get your antibiotics now, ladies and gentlemen. It can't hurt to have one for each one in your family, or at the minimum, in my opinion, at least one bundle that can at least treat one person or one illness in your family during the worst of times. You just never know. And if those are stored properly, they will last a lot longer than 1 or 2 years. Water purification. I mean, you can come to this and read this, and you're going to get ideas that maybe you weren't thinking about. Most of them you probably will, but some of them maybe you didn't think about. Prepare financially. You all know that I am a huge proponent of getting gold and silver in order so that I can preserve your purchasing power, right? So that you don't lose all of that wealth that you accrued to inflation. Because inflation is meant to do one thing, and it is to steal from you your wealth, your labor. So prepare financially. Have an emergency fund. I'm not a financial advisor. I have to say that because I'm on the internet. But have an emergency fund. Have enough money to pay your bills in your bank for like 3 months, and then have enough money to pay your bills in cash in your home or somewhere where you can get to it easily for 3 months if you can. If not, chip away at it little by little. All right. Prepare your family. Where are you going to meet if something happens and you're not together? If something happens and there's an intruder, where are you going to go? Who's going to do what? Okay. Uh, this is a big one. Understanding the importance of community. Okay. Very important, right? Community is very important. Okay. Something that I saw that they missed on there. Something that I saw that they probably missed on there, and if they didn't, that's okay because everyone's different. But become, prepared with your faith, right? Because that's going to be very important, ladies and gentlemen. Your faith is going to be very important going forward. Okay, so prepare with your faith as well. And now, let's see. Okay, all right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I am done with my little spiel. All right. I really hope that you got something out of this. I really hope that you are all motivated to go out there and prep. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, even if you don't use any of my links, even if you have nothing to do with me as far as me making one penny, I don't care. Get prepared. You know why? Because the better prepared that everyone in America is, the better that it is for me and for you. Because this is our country. And a country that is well prepared can get through hard times as a nation, not only as an individual. And all you have to do to prove that to yourself is look back in the Vietnam War. In my opinion, one of the major reasons why we lost the Vietnam War and the Vietnamese won is because they had a country full of preppers that were prepared and that were willing and able to supply their military. There were people that were willing to bring their military, the people that were fighting, the freedom fighters, because for them, they were freedom fighters. For them, it was them that were being invaded, right? So they were willing and able to provide their freedom fighters with rice to eat, with gauze, to take care of a wound, with medical help, all that kind of stuff. So we here in the United States, ladies and gentlemen, our time has come. The war cycle is here. So get prepared at the very least so that maybe one day you can say, yeah, I was one of those people that helped our guys that were out there fighting the fight because I was prepared. And that's what I have to say about that. Let's see. Oh, wow. Isn't that awesome, Yarn Prepper? Your daughter ordered a zero water filter. Is a great filter. I do have a filter that I'm going to be reviewing from Simpure. That's the style of the Berkey filter. But before I actually put that video up, I want to actually have the water tested by a professional facility to see how it actually does, okay? Because it is a new product and it's not something that I can personally test because those filters with the carbon, the black carbon filters, those actually leave particulates in your water. They're not bad for you, but you can't really test for particulates because you're going to find a lot of particulates in your water when you use the black filters. So I want to actually send it out to a lab so that they can test it, see what is like. SR, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you, man. Thank you. Gets me all good, man. Yeah. Get fired up. Yep, get fired up in a good way. Absolutely. I mean, a little motivation goes a long way when it comes to preparedness. You know why? Because once you start doing it, you understand how important it is. Once you start preparing, ladies, and for those of you that haven't started to prepare, once you start preparing, you're going to realize how important it is, and you're going to get hooked on it. And the main reason is not because you go out there and buy stuff. The main reason is because you come to an understanding that, wow, this can actually feed my family when there's no more left anywhere. Now think about that. That's a really powerful feeling for you to know that if something happens to where no matter what you do, no matter how much money you have, You're not going to be able to get any more food for whatever reason. It doesn't matter what the reason is, but that you'll be able to still feed your family. That's a very, very strong feeling. That's something that I don't know. I guess most people don't really think about it because they live through rose-colored glasses, as I stated previously. But think about it the other way. If you didn't have anything to feed your family and you knew you weren't going to get anything because there was just nothing to be gotten, what would you do? And that's what you want to make sure that you avoid. You want to make sure that you're prepared so that you can avoid doing those things that you would do in the worst of circumstances in order so that you can feed your family. Let's see. North of the 52nd is in the house. How you doing? Good to see you. James P, how you doing? Good to see you. Let's see. Evita says Sam's Club still has their 48-ounce chalk full out nut coffee cans. Oh, okay. I know which ones you're talking. I really don't like that coffee, but that's a good price. $10. Outstanding. You know why it is? You know why it is that I think that Costco, a lot of times their prices on certain items are good for a while? Because like here I am talking about, hey, coffee's going to get expensive. Get your coffee now. And here Avita's like, well, hey, Costco still has this for a really good price. And some people may be like, well, why do they still have it for a good price? Well, ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you about coffee and stuff like that, that maybe something happens where the price is going to go up, that's a leading indicator. If something happens today, you're not going to see the prices affected for a while. But with Costco, I think it's different. That sometimes you see the prices affected in other places, but you don't see it affected at Costco. This is why I think I could be wrong. I think that Costco does a contract with their suppliers. So they say, hey, I'm going to buy X number of pallets of coffee from you for X number of months at this price. And whether the price goes up or down for whatever reason, you're not going to see that price increase or decrease at Costco until after they have to renew the contract for another span of time. I think that's why at Costco, sometimes the prices don't go up at the same time that prices for other places are going up. It's because they're in contracts with their suppliers. So to me, it just makes sense. And that's what it seems like as far as their cycle, when something goes up or down. Okay, let's see. Let's keep bringing it down. I'm starting to lose my voice, ladies and gentlemen. So where we're at? We're at about an hour and 18 minutes right now. Okay, let's see. Wow, we've got 758 likes. That is awesome. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That is great. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. And you know what? I don't ask a lot of times to like, hey, give this video a like and stuff like that, but it does make a difference. So if you do get something out of it, even if it's just a little entertainment, do feel free to go ahead and click the like button. I do appreciate that. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, during these times, people do need to know what's going on. They need to get shocked. They need a good shock, but in a good way. I don't mean that they need to be shocked by something bad happening, but they need to get a shock of being, shown something that maybe they never seen before. And by giving the videos a like and by leaving your comments and stuff like that, then YouTube usually tries to recommend videos like this or live streams like this to people that maybe haven't subscribed to the prepper community YouTube channels in the past. So hopefully they get a slap when they click on a video like this and be like, what the heck is this guy talking about? And then maybe look into it a little further. All right. So I hope that made sense. Okay. Let's see. Only in my dreams, Anna asks, what do you recommend to get water out from a basement when the sump pump stops besides a generator? The only thing I can think about, Anna, is going to be your shop vac. Yes, your shop vac. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I see what you mean. You're saying, like, for example, you have a basement that has a sump pump, right? And the electricity is gone. What do you recommend to get that water? I mean, really, the sub pump is already there, so why don't you just hook up some electricity to it? Get yourself, if you don't have a generator because where you live you can't run a generator, then get a solar generator and always have it charged. That way you can hook up, a extension cord to your solar generator and run it down to your sump pump. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, since I brought up solar generators, stand by on getting a solar generator until Black Friday, because not only is Opus coming out with another new solar generator, okay, but they're going to have some really good sales for Black Friday. And on top of that, they've guaranteed me a 10% coupon on top of the sale prices. So hold off on buying a solar generator and at least wait until Black Friday. I'm sure that other manufacturers of solar generators are going to have sales as well, not only Opus. Obviously, you all know that I champion Opus because I think they have a really good product. And in addition to that, I really like that they give back to the community. All right, that's a big deal for me that they give back to the community. So I'll be reviewing a brand new Opus product, and I'll be filling you all in on some pretty awesome prices that they're going to have for solar generators. All right, so hold off on that. But yeah, Anna, that's what I would recommend is if you cannot run a generator, a gas generator, because maybe you don't want to alert your neighbors that you have a generator, or because you can't run one in the neighborhood that you have, maybe you have an HOA, then go ahead and get a solar generator, which you can keep inside your home and use inside your home and always keep it charged so that you can then run an extension cord down to your sump pump and it will keep your basement dry during a power outage. All right. So I hope that that makes sense and that helped, Donna. Thank you for the question, by the way. Let's bring it down. I'm looking for some questions. All right. So I'm just looking for some caps here. Okay, let's see. RG Russell, how you doing? Rafi Faber says we only have a few months left before we run out of dollars, like around March. Man, you know what? First of all, I love Rafi. I watch his podcast all the time on Arcadia Economics. I know he has his own podcast, but I love the weekly review that he does on Arcadia. And then, the thing is that this system should have been dead in the water more than a decade ago. And they keep coming up with new ways to keep it up. But these new ways, the only way that they can stay up is by it reducing your wealth. It's a transfer of wealth is what it is. And if they do get away with getting a CBDC, that's going to be a few more years that they're going to be able to add to the suffering, because they're going to be able to get away with transferring more of your wealth for another year or 2 or 3 until the people get tired of it and until that Ponzi scheme fails as well. So yeah, I mean, we probably should have been out already. I know that the actual treasury account is pretty much null and void. It's pretty much zeroed out. So now pretty much, the treasury is probably going to be borrowing money or not. Yeah, borrowing money. But who's going to buy that debt? They're going to be printing treasury notes to sell. But who's going to buy that? More than likely, it's going to be the banks via the Federal Reserve, or the Federal Reserve via the banks. So it's just more inflationary debt that's going to occur. All right. Let me explain something to you real quick, ladies and gentlemen, on how debt can be inflationary and sometimes it's not inflationary. So let's say that the Treasury is broke and they need to issue Treasury bills. Well, they're going to print up a whole bunch of these little notes and they're going to say, hey, here, we're going to put them for sale. All right. We're going to go ahead and bid them out. Now, let's say that everyone that buys the debt that the government is issuing is like private citizens like you and me, private citizens or pension plans, etc. But since that debt is being purchased with money that already existed within the M2 money supply, then it's not going to be inflationary because you're taking money from one pot in the system, putting it in another pot, and it's still the same amount of money as in the system. It's a zero-sum game. But whenever nobody wants to buy the debt that the government is issuing, they're going to go ahead and print those treasury notes. then what's going to happen is the banks are going to buy those treasury notes because nobody else wants to buy them. With your money, they're going to buy those treasury notes. But then they're going to go ahead and take those treasury notes and sell them to the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is going to print money out of thin air and give it to the banks. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, is inflationary. Why? Because initially the banks gave the money to buy the treasury notes to the treasury, which they're going to spend in the economy. But then the banks got more money putting back into the economy from the Federal Reserve. So now you have more money in the economy. When there's more dollars in the economy chasing the same or lesser amount of goods, the prices of those goods go up. So that's how the Treasury printing Treasury bills or Treasury notes and then selling them in the open market is either inflationary or not inflationary. Okay. And businesses, as far as like, excuse me, hedge funds, yes, like hedge funds that govern retirement funds, there's only so many treasury notes that they can buy, ladies and gentlemen. All right, there's only so much they can buy, and I don't think that very many countries outside of our borders are buying treasury notes either, because they've already seen what it is. It's just money that's printed out of thin air that produces inflation, and that's all it is. There's no value behind it, no real value behind it. So, eventually we are going to pay the piper one way or another. Okay, let's see. Redneck Prepper, how you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. Amanda, good to see you. Hey, Amanda, did that battery work for you? Let me know if that battery worked for you, or send me an email saying, yeah, it worked good. I hope it did. Paul Smith, how you doing? Melissa Willard, how are you doing? Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Who is that there? Troubled Bearstetter, how are you doing? Good to see you, my friend. U.S. Freedom 5, how are you doing? Good to see you. Keisha Wagner, how are you? Good to see you. Oh, Republic, you know what? Ladies and gentlemen, maybe I was wrong about the draft thing, about us having to declare war in order to have a draft. Yeah, I didn't think about that. I was probably wrong about that. So, yeah, man, that's terrible. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, you know what? Now that I think about it, I guess it is an act of Congress. So, in order for there to be a draft, I guess it has to be an act of Congress for them to pass a law that says that, yeah, we're instituting the draft. So, I guess, yeah, thank you very much. I guess you don't have to declare war in order to actually have a draft. That stinks. Man. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you this right now. I learned one thing. For all of the times that I've been downrange, I've learned one thing. That's this, is that there's no reason to fight a war outside your country. The next time that I will ever pick up an arm against a foe is when that foe is at my door. And what I mean about that foe is at my door, is that foe is in my country. That I need to do what I need to do to protect my countrymen, my family, my community, my country. Right? Not because you're going to go halfway around the world to go ahead and put a bullet in someone just because someone in your government said so. Right? Especially with all of the lies that we've been fed for so long. People are waking up. I mean, I've been watching a few videos here and there that pop up of like younger people saying, "Are you kidding me? There's no way that I'm going to go and fight in some banker war." Even kids are like saying, "I ain't going to go fight in some banker war. I'll just go to jail." They're like, "I'd rather go to jail and get 3 meals a day for 5 years than to go somewhere overseas and get shot up as soon as I land on the ground." I believe that this is going to be a different type of a war, one that we haven't been used to for a very long time. So I'm actually kind of not upset, but But it's too bad that I am wrong about that. And thank you for correcting me. It's too bad that I did make that mistake in thinking that we had to declare a war in order to institute the draft. Obviously, we don't, because of what you said as far as the Vietnam War, and that makes perfect sense. Obviously, we don't. I wish we did. Mario, I don't know what you're talking about. Me doing a Ronald McDonald joke, or we raid the gray man. Listen, give me a few days. Maybe I can come with a Ronald McDonald joke for our next live stream. And by the way, the next live stream here, ladies and gentlemen, will be Monday. This Monday at 3 p.m. Alaska time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to have me, myself, and Grayman doing our episode number 2 of Breaking Down the Headlines. All right. Our first one was a lot of fun. So we're going to keep doing it on a weekly basis every Monday at 3 p.m. Alaska time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope that you catch that, because Gray and I, we have a lot of fun doing that. And everyone that was during the live chat or the live stream that was there, I think they had a lot of fun doing it as well. Right. Let me see. Jeff Outdoors. How you doing, Jeff? How you doing? It's actually it's very nice in Alaska. As the lower 48 is getting nice chilly weather, we're pretty warm up here. I mean, today I think it was like 24, 25 degrees, which is very nice, ladies and gentlemen. 24, 25 degrees here is like shorts weather. Literally shorts weather. I went outside in my shorts today for about 20 minutes, throwing the frisbee at Karma for like 20 minutes. Very nice. It seems that it's going to be a mild and dry winter here this year. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it plays through. Right? It's supposed to be a mild and dry winter up here where we live, and it's supposed to be a cold and wet winter down south in the lower 48. So we'll see if that plays out. Never know. Man, you know what? Ryan Krantz asked, what brand freezer is known to be good quality? GE is now Chinese owned. I don't know. I don't even know if freezers are made anywhere but China anymore, Ryan, to tell you the truth. I think we have a GE that we bought about, I want to say about 8 years ago, and it's a really big stand up freezer. It's like 25 cubic feet, and believe it was 8 years ago because I remember paying about $500 for it. All right, nowadays it's probably like $1,500 for that same freezer. But it's a GE. I don't know where it was made, but it's still kicking. It's still running really good. All right. So, but I couldn't tell you of a certain brand of freezer right now. Let me see. Storm Weather says, how are the chickens doing anymore? Well, Storm Weather, watch my payday prep video that I put up. I think it was yesterday morning, because I show you that the chickens are doing great, first of all. And now we are keeping up with eggs, meaning that we don't have to buy store-bought eggs anymore. So my ladies, my chicken ladies, they are providing us with enough eggs to where we don't have to buy any more from the store. So they're doing great. They're doing really well. With your help, of course. You all have helped me a lot with those chickens. Low blood pressure is in the house. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any cats, lock them in your closets, because low blood pressure has made it to the AP chat. What's up, low blood pressure? Good to see you, brother. What good is a credit score during hyperinflation? Max all credit cards? Well, you know what? That's a great point. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not telling you to max all credit cards and get silver, all right? I know low blood pressure is serious about that, though. But yeah, what good is a credit score during hyperinflation? Not many things will be good during hyperinflation unless you have real money, in my opinion. Let's see. All right, what time is it? Well, we're going to be closing it out here in a little bit. Hot dog it. I have to ask my contact about OPS being available in Canada or not, okay? I'm going to get an answer to that. Let me go ahead and take a picture of this. I'm going to take a picture of your question here. to make sure that I don't forget. Okay, just a second. Oh, come on, man. Let's see. Okay, I won't forget. I'll go ahead and send him an email. Okay, sorry about that. I really try to remember that, but I just didn't. SAS Finance, thank you very much for the super sticker. Truly do appreciate it. Let's see. Jerry Montejano. Jerry Montejano. I like that. How are you doing? Good to see you. Well, look at that. How is the A1C level? Man, why did you have to ask me that, Jerry? I haven't done a video about this, but I'll go ahead and share with you, ladies and gentlemen. I actually had my A1C done this last week. Last week, I think it was. And I actually got my results back a couple of days ago, and it's not good. And I don't know why. You know how sometimes, like when somebody goes on a diet and they're like, yeah, I'm on a diet. And then you see that they're not losing any weight or something like that, and then you're driving by a Taco Bell one day and you see them in the back of the Taco Bell in their car just stuffing tacos in their mouth, right? But they're like, yeah, I'm on a diet, and every time that they're around you, they're always eating really well until the day that you find them stuffing tacos in their mouth behind a Taco Bell. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's not me. I have not cheated at all. When I went carnivore/ketovore, because I do a little bit of ketovore like on the weekends. I allow myself like 20 net grams of carbohydrates a day during the weekend, right? And that's like a treat for me. 20 net grams of carbohydrates, but in the form of a good carbohydrate, like a half of a tomato or a little bit of a salad with lettuce and cucumber or something like that. That is it. I've never cheated once, not one time. But I think I know what my mistake was. I went and took my A1C again, thinking that, hey, it's going to be better than a 6.3, because the last A1C that I took was 6.3, which anything under 6.6 is under the diabetic level. So 6.5 and under, it's pre-diabetic, not diabetic. So I came all the way down from a 9.2 or a 9.3 to a 6.3. I'm doing great. Everything that I'm doing is working. So very happy the last time. This time around, and like I said, no cheating, ladies and gentlemen. I'm like 95, 99% meat eater. On the weekends, I have a little bit of carbs, and that's it. And it's really good carbs. It's not like candy or anything like that. I go back, and also I take my glucose level with my glucose strip between 2 and 3 times a day. And in the last 3 months, it's averaged like 98, 99 for the whole 3 months, which means that I've been under 100 average. Usually, whenever I take it, I'm like today I took it around 11:30. I got a 79, which is like awesome, like really good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I went and took my A1C. I got my results back. I'm a 6.5. I'm 2 points higher, or from a 6.3, I went up to a 6.5. I was like, what in the world? Well, it's my fault. All right. It's my fault 100%. And this is why. Because since I was taking my glucose level on a regular basis, 2, 3 times a day, every day, and it was always good. Every time I took it, it's good. I'm like, okay, cool. All I needed to do was try one diet soda. I tried a Diet Mountain Dew. I took my glucose. It was good. So guess what I did? Yeah, I went back on diet soda, and I shouldn't have. Diet soda, ladies and gentlemen, I now realize is so very bad for you. Well, it's not even that. I have no excuse. I have no excuse. I knew all the time that diet soda is bad for you, and I decided to drink it because I thought that it would not affect my A1C, and it did. Because that's the only thing that I changed, was that I started drinking diet soda, not every single day, like a whole bunch of times, but on a regular basis. So as soon as I found that out and I had to talk with my doctor, I told him about the diet soda. He says, yes, even diet soda can elevate your A1C. I just stopped right away, and I haven't drank any in the last 5 or 6 days, and I will not drink diet soda again. Not even for a treat, not even to celebrate something. I just won't ever drink it again. Not only is it really bad for you for other reasons, like the coloring and all of the chemicals and stuff they have in there, but it's not good for my A1C. So unfortunately, my A1C went back up to a 6.5. So I'm still technically considered pre-diabetic. All right. I'm still out of the diabetic range where I was 9, 10 months ago now. But I took a little bit of a couple of steps back. However, ladies and gentlemen, all I have is time. All I have is time and the experience of what not to do. So we'll see what happens the next time that I get my next A1C. I'm going to keep doing the same thing that I've been doing. I cut out my diet soda 100%, and I even only allow myself one piece of chewing gum per day. Before, I would eat 4, 5, 6 pieces of chewing gum per day. Why? Because it gave my mouth something to chew on. It gave my mouth flavor and all that kind of stuff. It's just poison. I just have to stop doing it and realize that I have a choice to make. And if I want, I'm going to have to make the right choice if I want the right results. Anyways, who was it that asked me what? Jerry. Thank you, Jerry, for asking me that. And thank you for keeping me honest, by the way. Jupiter's Realm, how you doing? Good to see you. Ginger, thank you very much, Ginger. You're very generous. Thank you so much. Okay, let's see. All right. Hey, there you go. Derek, how you doing, my friend? How's the wife doing? Amber, how are you doing? I hope that you're listening and that you're doing well. Good to see you guys. Yeah, absolutely, Jeff. Target practice is very important. All right. Muscle memory is probably something that will keep you alive when you really need it to. And muscle memory is pretty much just instinct, right? When you practice something enough, you'll be able to rely on your instinct to get you through a stressful situation where you don't have to think. All right. And that's what we call muscle memory, like in the military. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to go ahead and call it. I mean, I would love nothing more than to spend another hour or so with you all, but I'm starting to lose my voice. And let's see. Yeah, absolutely, trouble. Aspartame. And you know, the thing is this. Look, I can't sit here and say, oh my goodness, I didn't know. I knew it. I knew it was bad. You know, sometimes, you have to admit, I knew it was bad, right? To my defense, if there is a defense, sometimes when all you eat is the same stuff, a lot of the times there's not that much variety in meats, especially when that's all you eat is protein, right? Beef, eggs, pork, and stuff. Sometimes you just need a little something to break the monotony, and then you can start over the next day. But that's not an excuse. It's like I said, to me, it's black and white. You either do this for the right reasons, and if you don't, you're going to pay the price. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I did what I shouldn't have done, and I pay the price, right? And however, it's not the end of the world. You get knocked down, all you got to do is just get back on, join the party. There's plenty of room. There's plenty of room for you to get back on that wagon, right? I mean, everyone messes up once in a while. Just if you mess up, don't beat yourself up over it, and just get back on that wagon, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that's all that you can do. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and call it good. Listen, for those of you that may be new or newer to the channel, so if you've been subscribed for like the last couple of weeks, or even if this is your first live stream, that you're in the chats, in all caps, put "I am new," and during our outro, we'll go ahead and shout you out so that you can see your name on the screen, and so that the community can welcome you into our community. All right, our community members. All right. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, a quick safety brief, being that it's Friday. Go have a great time. If after a long week of work you feel like you want to go have a drink, man, go have a good time. Have a good time, ladies and gentlemen. Just don't drink and drive. Go ahead and bring a designated driver if you're going to drink, and get an Uber or a Lyft or a taxi, or call someone to come and pick you up if you've drank and you have to drive home. Right? It's a lot easier to come and get the car the next day than for you to get a drunk driving ticket, or for you to hurt someone because you just couldn't pay attention when you were driving because you were drunk. All right. So take care of yourselves. All right. Be safe. Have a great weekend. Spend some family time, ladies and gentlemen. Right. And love on your family, especially during these times. We just never know what's going to happen. So, have a great weekend. Spend time with your family. And I hope to see you all Monday during our live stream on Monday. All right. Other than that, have a great weekend. God bless every one of you. God bless America. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, that when good people do good things happen. All right. So remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place. And you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to every one of you and your families. Thank you so much to all of you for all of your support, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Truly do appreciate you all. Right. God bless you again. God bless America. And let's go ahead and do our outro. Put I am new if you're new. All right. So we can shout you out. God bless you all.